Jim here. This is 23rd January 2026. This is like clockwork. So, because the weather has been consistently the same every day for the last 4 days, I think now. Gets warm around noonish, and then they're out. So what I'm doing with this, what I'm trying to do here is show variabilities, all right, on managing bees, because the weather can be a big dictator to how well your bees are doing, what kind of resources they're getting at that time of year. But sometimes that time of year don't matter. Sometimes, the weather, it's going to dictate a lot of things. So what I'm doing here is I am pampering the heck out of these bees. I caught them from out there somewheres, and I want to pamper them intensely to expand the girth of the hive quantity, so that come spring I can make multiple splits instead of maybe just one. If I had a weak hive, then maybe I won't be able to make any splits at all. So what I'm doing now is setting the stage for a heavy packed hive come drone laying, and then once the drones are out, they'll be, yeah, hi girl, they come and inspect me. They'll just kind of buzz around here and land on me, look at me, and then clean themselves, and look at me and clean themselves. Yeah, so you can see here that, oh, by the way, I haven't been stung since last spring. You think that I'm doing this every day, yeah, I'm going to get stung, ain't no doubt about it. So this is what they're doing today. Another navigational flight. They're bringing in some yellow, some different colors of pollen. Are you going to inspect the phone? Okay, go ahead. Inspect it. And so they're feeding on these little things here. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this hot syrup and feeding them. Oh, you're going to drown in there, aren't you? And so I'm going to keep doing this. Plus I'm feeding them other sources, through other sources. Are you freaking out as fast as I'm putting it in there? Say what? All right, girls, move back. Okay, so I got some hot syrup over there that I just put over there. That's hot syrup. And so I had 2 jars there. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to fatten these girls up. I built this yesterday, and now I got syrup in there, and they're all going in there and drinking all that syrup. So they have an instinct to leave the hive to go forage. So what I try to do is give them a food source away from the hive. Like, I'm going to collect some pollen and nectar from a flower, but they don't grow right in front of the hive. So they will get this level a little bit. They will want to fly away to at least a certain distance, right? And so I've been doing this, I think 4 days in a row now, feeding them like this, and I'll stay out here all day until it starts to get too cold. Then they'll go in, and there's a reason why I'm doing that. Like I specified earlier, was I want to feed them as much as they'll take in on these days that they can, and that they will trigger that queen to go even into more intensive egg laying. Like, there's a lot of resources out there. Okay, let's expand, and let's maybe do an early split, and that's what I want. The earlier splits I can get, the better. And the bigger the hive, the more compact it becomes, the bigger the urgency for them to desire to make queens and drones and splits. So I'm trying to encourage that environment. And so I've got a screen board on each one of my hives, so that when I have also what's called an observational panel, so I can pull that out and see what they're doing. I can see if they're building comb, tearing it down, eating honey. At any time of the year, I can see what kind of bugs might be getting in there, whether they be ants or hive beetles or whatever, or varroa mites. I can see what's attacking them. or what's getting too much in there, and then I can go in and be proactive and go in there and help them out, with the bromites or whatever else that might be causing a problem for them. Because as a beekeeper, our responsibility is to keep our bees safe, just like we do with our dog, our cat, or any other pet that we have. Yeah, they're our pets. That's just the way it is. And we got to manage them like our pets. Understand their behaviors, why they behave the way they do, when they do, how they do, when they behave certain ways. And they actually told me when they ran out of food. Now, did they speak English? No, they speak Mandarin. Okay. I had a laughing bee in my face. Oh, she thought that was funny. So, it's about understanding them. They don't care to understand us, right? It's us, like we understand our dog, we understand our cat, we understand our goat, we understand our goose, and they kind of understand us the best way that they can, and we build a relationship, kind of. Well, that's what I have with my bees. There's a kind of a camaraderie. I know their limits. They've already experienced mine, and so. But I need to be more aware of them than they are of me. And I need to be more understandable of their changing behavior than them of mine. They can do facial recognition. They're good at that. That's why they go right to the face. He's got eyes, he's got nose, that's the face, and they go right to the face, right? Typically. Hey there, girl, you're investigating. And they're very curious creatures. They land on me all the time. Just it's like they'll land and then look at me, waiting for my response. And I'll just look down at them and just kind of make that eye contact, and then she'll just start cleaning herself. Like, I guess I'm okay here. I'm safe. And so, yeah, I've watched them take baths, literally skydive. Right? At first, I went to rescue the bee, thinking it was drowning. Right, and then I stopped when I was getting ready to dish it out. I thought, with a stick, I thought, that bee's doing something weird. Like, I'm gonna watch. And so it got out, crawled on some little sticks I had around the little pool I had. Kind of dried off itself a little bit, cleaned itself off a little bit, and then jumped right in. Boom. And then it flipped on its back, put its head up in the water, and flapped its wings under the water. Who knew that birds splish splash take a bath? Yeah, I didn't know that. So there you go. And so, yeah, my homemade trough there looks pretty packed over there. And so I will continue to do this until I feel that they've got a good amount of food built up in there. I also did what's called mountain feeding. I made some what's called sugar cakes, and I put it on the top of the dividing board so they can get food coming out, they can get food inside, and start storing that from 2 different locations, outside and internally. And so that's what I'm doing. All right, feeding the girls, another feeding day, making sure all their needs are met, and that is my day. This will all subside pretty soon. This is very temporary, just to get them really strong. And that's all this is, to get them tough, strong, lots of energy to go out there in the world and do all the things that they need to do. Oh, you look like you still have plenty of food there. Let's go ahead and fill this up a little bit. They're all over my squirter. I'm gonna get that anywhere I can get it. I like to give them some hot stuff now and then, just to warm up that syrup that's already in there. This is like 110 degrees, and yeah, just give them some hot stuff. I like my food about 110. Don't you? certain foods anyway, dishes that we prefer hot, and so that's it. Please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, leave a comment, click the like, and so what they're also doing again, so they're out doing orientational navigational flights again, and they have done this now every day, I think for 2 weeks. And that's the longest I've ever seen this hive do that. When I first got her in when I first caught this swarm in May last year, it was like 3 days, maybe 4 max, of orientation flights in a row, and then nothing for 3 weeks. And it went on like that until just the last couple of weeks. So a month and a half ago or so, she started laying up a storm, getting ready to do this, expand. Because there was a neighbor that was feeding so much pollen to, he had some sort of food source out feeding animals, but it was loaded with protein. It was in a powder type of form for them to put into their pollen sacs on their legs, and they were just coming in. It was just crazy. I've never seen that even this spring. So my hive just needed sugar, right, to make some honey, because they can't get that in the winter. There's just not enough flowers to get nectar from, right? And so they're coming out here filling up their nectar sacs, and I watch them go back and forth to this source I have here. They're just going back and forth. Now, these are all my girls. I am 99.99 to infinity sure. I always leave a little chance of possibilities, right? Because there's absolutely zero infighting. There's no scuffles, there's nothing, right? No fighting at all. When I've got my first beehive, I did the same thing, some outside feeding in front of the hive. I kept seeing this fight. I said, why are they fighting over that food? They must not like each other. Well, that's ignorance, right? My first hive, first experience, first outside feeding. I was getting marauders, but I didn't know that somebody else had already bought a beehive for the same reason I did, a little ways away. So we both had bought beehives at the same time, that same year, because we didn't have any bees around for many years. Didn't see them until July. So his bees were coming raiding mine, and mine were probably over there raiding his if he was outside feeding. If he wasn't, then my bees were the only ones that were getting raided. And so, yeah, I stopped doing that after I realized what was going on. And because they were actually getting into my hive, my first hive, and trying to raid it inside. There was fighting going on in the inside. So anyway, so I monitor my bees' behavior really close so I can understand what's going on, not only with my girls, but with what's going on outside. So when I got my first bees, I didn't think there was going to be, when I was going to make my splits, I didn't think there was going to be any drones for her to even mate with. They only go like a mile away, the queens. And the drones, I guess, only go about a half a mile from their hive. So to make splits and get a mated queen, you have to have some drones in the area, pretty close, right? And that year, the first year I did, and I didn't think so. All the things we didn't know that we finally know, we go, huh? Boy, that thing changed, and I had no idea. So, all right, I'm going to get back to doing some other projects here that I need to get done. I just thought I'd share you with this update. Pay close attention to your bees for you folks who have them. If they're out buzzing around a lot, engage in some external feeding around their hive. Keep them alive. They swarmed my garage when they ran out of food, buzzing all around me, just circling me. Just circling me, bouncing off my head, hundreds of them. Not trying to sting, trying to get my attention, but I didn't know that at the moment. Right? I didn't know that they were trying to get my attention. They're going zzz, like this. And once I got the memo, I frantically run around thawing out some syrup from last year and got them all fed, and man, they just swarmed all that food immediately. Starving. I thought that I had over 100 pounds. I left them with over 100 pounds of honey. I thought they were going to be fine, right? No. That's why it's so important to monitor our bees like we monitor our cat, our dog. Look for changes. Hello, girl. And so, there you go. My latest update. All right. Yeah, I need to get busy. Okay, you have a good day. Please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, click the like. Bye now.